What is up, guys? Londrick here, and now I'm back with the final Q&A of the year, Wrestling in 2019 Q&A. So, put the video out a while ago, got some questions, not that many to be honest, and we're going to do it. So, just before I do it, I just want to say something about the Q&A, because I just feel like each Q&A gets less and less comments now, so not really getting that many contributors anymore, so makes me think the people aren't really interested anymore. So because of the fact I'm getting less and less questions in every single Q&A, I've made the decision that this will be the last Q&A I'm ever going to do. I've decided from now on to permanently scrap Q&As, just down to lack of interest really, to be honest. I mean, that's the way it is. If people aren't really that bothered about it, then there's no point in really doing it anymore. So because of that, there'll be no more Q&As. This is going to be the last one. And so let's get to it really. We've got, we've got 9 sets of questions here, so this probably won't be too long of a video. We'll get about less than an hour, I would imagine, so it's not going to be a really long one. But I've got some decent questions which we'll get into, so let's do it really. Then we've got a first question from Jamil Brown. It's one question, but it's a very simple question. Where do you find the match graphics, cards graphics for your WWE pay-per-view reviews? So really simple really, I just look it up on YouTube. So say next month I'll be doing TLC, I'll type in WWE TLC 2019 match card, then obviously there'll be a number of videos on there, but I tend to go for the one that comes up first on the search engine. It's the most recent, because that'll be the most up-to-date one. So click the video, screenshot each match card, save the picture on my computer, and there you go. And for the ones I can't find, so if they don't have a certain match on there, I just go on Google search and type in whatever the match is at the pay-per-view. Then I'll either find a picture of the match or a match graphic, and I just use that. Pretty simple, easy, anyone can do it. Simple as. Then we've got a next set of questions from M&R Jr. So 3 questions. First up, best feud in WWE of 2019. So I asked you this on the Q&A if you meant NXT as well, but you said no. We were talking main roster. So for me, there's only really one, and to me, there's not even really a close second, to be honest. And the WWE feud, yeah, it's got to be Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston, right, hasn't it? I mean, that for me was the best story going to WrestleMania 35. Obviously, just a perfect thing of Kofi Kingston getting his opportunity because Mustafa Ali got injured, and then suddenly getting like ridiculously over, having that big performance in the Gauntlet match, having that epic performance in the Elimination Chamber. Then the whole run up to WrestleMania, Vince keep on trying to screw Kofi Kingston, and then kind of Daniel Bryan essentially turning to what he fought against when he fought against the Authority 5 years earlier. Daniel Bryan was that babyface that everyone wanted to win, but now he was the heel trying to stop Kofi Kingston from doing what he did at WrestleMania 30, calling Kofi Kingston a B+ player. And obviously the story of Kofi Kingston being in WWE for 11 years, never win the WWE title, and then getting over in a huge way, and WWE actually capitalising on it, which, to be fair, I'm kind of surprised he did that, to be honest. I thought he would have resisted and fought it, but no, they went with it, went all the way, Kofi Mania all the way to WrestleMania, and then the culmination, the best match of WrestleMania 35 by a mile. Awesome WrestleMania match of Kofi Kingston, the babyface, beating the heel Daniel Bryan to win the WWE title. I mean, yeah, I cannot really think of a close second. I guess the women's feud going to WrestleMania 35, maybe, but that had nothing on Kofi and Bryan for me. And then on the other side of that coin, the worst feud in WWE in 2019. Well, we certainly aren't spoiled for choice here, because how many bad feuds have we had this year? We've had Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin, Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans, that was pretty awful. The Fiend versus Seth Rollins, overall that was pretty shite as well. But for me, the one that takes the cake, the one that's been the worst, and it's a feud that's still ongoing, so maybe it'll get better down the line, and maybe it'll end up better, but it's got to be the Lashley Rusev rivalry, hasn't it, on Raw at the minute. My God, this is terrible. This is absolutely awful. Just, oh god, just so many bad shit in this storyline, really. And it does just seem to be getting stupider and stupider by the week. Apparently, Lashley and Rusev had a big match at Starrcade last night, which I have not seen. They'll probably battle at TLC as well in some kind of stipulation match. I mean, you'd hopefully in the end Rusev gets his revenge and beats up Bobby Lashley and beats him to win this feud. Because if Lashley wins this feud, then Rusev kind of looks like a complete loser and pretty much dead, isn't he, really? So this guy has banged his wife over and over again, all that shit. Had said wife fake a pregnancy to lure Rusev in for another attack. So if Bobby Lashley actually wins this feud, then what the hell? But yeah, it's just been awful, to be honest, just bad stuff. And then best moment of WWE in 2019. That has to be surely Roman Reigns returning from cancer. I believe that was in February, because that was it must have been after the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Must have been. So it must have been about 6-7 weeks out from WrestleMania. So that was just a wonderful moment. I mean, that is pretty much beats any wrestling storyline you can script for Roman Reigns to come back from a second cancer battle in his life. To announce to the world that he's in remission. And yeah, I mean, it's real. That was real awesome shit and just a fantastic moment. I mean, wonderful moment, to be fair. It's got to be that, hasn't it? Surely, I mean, yeah, you can have the title wins like Becky Lynch and Kofi Kingston and all that, but coming back from cancer is just something completely different, and just a big thing. Awesome stuff. That was my favourite moment of the year anyway. They've got next set of questions. Honourable Sediata. Which AEW original should become the world champion first? Right now it's MGF. Yep, I would agree. I think you're absolutely right. So taking into account the guys that weren't stars in either WWE or New Japan Pro Wrestling. So obviously Chris Jericho's the champion now. So no one like John Moxley, Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes. Could you put Hangman Page in that one? Because I guess he was a decent level star in Ring of Honor and New Japan before going into AEW with the Elite. So we're talking about guys that have pretty much had the first shot of a national company of AEW. So people like MGF, people like Luchasaurus, people like Joey Janela, people like that, Darby Allin. So MGF's got to be the obvious choice, hasn't he? I mean, this big heel turned the feud of Cody Rhodes. Hopefully that'll make him a star. But they could go 3, 4, 5 months of that, though, to be fair. And obviously this guy, not the best wrestler in the company, but apart from like maybe someone like Jericho or John Moxley, and maybe even Cody, on the microphone he's absolutely world class. Just great promos. He's got a pretty decent look. His youth on his side, I think he's like 23, 24. So yeah, MGF's got to be the obvious choice, hasn't it? I mean, it's obvious by watching the shows that AEW has big plans for this guy. I mean, this is a guy they could have around for like a good 10, 12 years and make a big star out of him. And maybe one of those guys that doesn't need to go to WWE if AEW takes off and does well. So yeah, it's got to be him, hasn't it? More of a future question, but do you think a feud between Pentagon Jr. and a seasoned Sammy Guevara, in brackets like 3 years from now, for the world title would be a draw for the Latino card? Yeah, I guess. Although I'm not completely sold on Sammy Guevara yet. I think he's good. Do I think he's great? Not really. I think he's a good worker and all that, but lots of people are good workers now, so he doesn't really stand out to me that much. Promos are fine as well, but again, not really stand out. I think Pentagon Jr. will obviously at some point probably be main eventer in AEW. I think eventually, once we get more established tag teams, Lucha Bros, Pentagon and Fiends will probably go their own separate ways, go into single scenarios, and we know Pentagon can do it. I mean, I believe he was a top guy in Lucha Underground. I think he was the Impact Champion as well, not that long ago, I think. Well, yeah, you think someone like Pentagon versus Moxley or Pentagon versus Omega or something like that would be pretty huge. So and if you could definitely see Pentagon being a champion. Sammy Guevara, I just don't know. I'm just not totally sold on him yet. But like hypothetically, they both got over on a certain level, and yeah, they could definitely have a big show in Mexico for something like that. Yeah, I think it would be a big draw. Kind of like when Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio drew quite good numbers for SmackDown, the Latino market back in the day. It could be something like that. Yeah, I think so. Do you think the Fiend's resistance to finishes might make his Universal title matches too silly? Well, in fairness, he didn't really do that much in the Daniel Bryan feud, so I'm hoping they've kind of stopped that now. I mean, let's be honest, the amount of times he's got getting up from curb stomps in the Raws match is ridiculous. And it's just really, really stupid. They did a little bit of that in the Bryan match at Survivor Series, but not a lot. So, and definitely he'd get knocked down, but then he'd take a little bit longer to get up and stuff like that. I mean, that match really did, with two matches with Raws, really did make the curb stomp piece seem pretty useless, didn't it? I mean, it's going to be. I think that's going to be a problem now. So the curb stomp and put down Brock Lesnar twice, but how many curb stomps? God knows how many. I can't even be asked to count it, but God knows how many curb stomps it was in there. Wyatt match like made Rollins look like an idiot, and then sees wrestling someone like Andrade and puts him down with one curb stomp. What does that do? So I'm hoping that WWE's not going to do that going forward. They're going to stop it now, because obviously we can't really answer this question until I've seen enough Wyatt Universal title matches. So we'll see. But yeah, if they continue that route, then absolutely it'll make Wyatt matches look too silly. Especially if it does it with people like Roman Reigns and stuff like that as well. What does that say, you know? Does Orange Cassidy have any chance of ever winning the world title if a gimmick like that? Well, I certainly hope not. I really don't. I'm sorry. I hate Orange Cassidy. I really do. I just think he's awful. I mean, maybe I'm just a miserable old bastard, but I just don't get it. Because you act nonchalant with your hands in your pockets and do these lame kicks. That's supposed to be funny? Sorry, I just don't find it very funny at all. I just feel like he's taking the piss, really. For me, comedy should be funny, and that's not funny, so is that really comedy? That's just not for me. I just don't get it at all. You'd think surely if he's ever going to be a bigger star, he'll have to change his gimmick and be more of a serious wrestler, because I tell you what, if AEW put the world title on him at some point, they can go fuck themselves. That'd be terrible. Yeah, like honestly, sorry, I know this is any Orange Cassidy fans out there. Sorry, but I just don't like it. I think it's awful, and I don't think he's very good either. I mean, so surely you'd think if this is where he's going to go for, and to be fair, he's over, I guess. I mean, guess that AEW crowd like what he does because he usually gets huge pops. So even though I don't like it, I guess if the audience likes it, that's good. But not for me. And surely if he does ever, if this is what he's going to do going forward, he'll always be like a mid-card comedy act. Sort of like Santino Marella in WWE for all those years, or someone like that. You just don't. You might get the occasional push and get the occasional world title shot, but never win the title, surely. Then, favourite New Japan Pro Wrestling feud of 2019? Well, this is an interesting one for me, because it's not really anything to do with the matches at all. It's the storyline that really got me grabbing at this one, and for me it's Jushin Thunder Liger versus Minoru Suzuki. I mean, obviously we're talking about in-ring. I think the highlight in New Japan this year has been Okada versus Sanada. Those 4 matches, the New Japan Cup Final, the Wrestling Dontaku match, the awesome G1 Climax match, and then the one at King of Pro Wrestling. 4 awesome wrestling matches, and I guess if you want to go over for in-ring feuds, something like Naito versus Ibushi, I guess, maybe. But for me, I just love the Suzuki Liger stuff. I mean, for me, that was absolutely brilliant. I mean, with the whole build-up, a match at King of Pro Wrestling was awesome, everything about it. And it built from, like, before Dominion, so we got, like, 4 or 5 months of these guys feuding before they actually got in the ring for a match. And it's kind of a shame that they didn't stretch this feud out until Wrestle Kingdom, because I think that would have been quite a fitting retirement match for Liger, but maybe that's just me. At this point, we still don't know what Liger's last match is going to be on January the 5th. I guess soon enough we'll find out, but God, yeah, and obviously just everything, how they were beating each other up all the time, and how Suzuki had pushed Liger into bringing out Kishin Liger. I mean, wow. And then like I said, the match at King of Pro Wrestling, I thought that was a great match, but it wasn't an epic match. I mean, it was probably about as good as a match you could sensibly have with two guys in the 50s, but this to me just felt like these two guys wanted to kill each other, and I thought it was brilliant. I really did. There we go. Next set of questions, Yasin Palasco. Do you think WWE will do the Saudi shows at the end of the contractual agreement? Yep. I mean, of course you will. Unless something like extreme happens and sponsors and advertisers threaten to pull out and pull all the money out of WWE, and it becomes a position where they have to stop the Saudi shows, then yeah, that's probably the only reason they'll do it. I mean, to be fair, when the Saudi people killed a Russian reporter last year and they still didn't pull out then, despite all that, they're not going to. And yeah, I don't like it, and I think it's shitty, but at the end of the day, the business relationships to me like this. The Saudi people have a lot of money. Said Saudi people give WWE lots of that money to put on these shows. That's it really. I mean, for what I've heard, and I could be wrong, they get something from like $45 to $60 million per show, which that's insane. Can you imagine giving a company like AEW, they could last a few years on that money? It's ridiculous. But, and the fact that, and we still don't know completely why, but last time all the workers were stranded in Saudi Arabia for a day, so I guess it depends if the wrestler's going to refuse to go next time. I would say some will, but I think the majority won't, because at the end of the day, they're employed by WWE. WWE is their employers, and so especially the mid-card guys, you really have to do what WWE says to an extent, and you got to go and earn your money. That's thing is, it's bad. It's not a good situation, but it's what it is. I mean, for what I understand, the contract until, let's see, they signed a 10-year deal in 2017, so I think the contract until 2027, and then who knows after that, what'll happen after that. But yeah, I think the only way we won't do it is if either something bad happens to the extent where sponsors and that threaten to pull out, and then that'll end up hurting the WWE's bottom line, or something happens where the government stops them from travelling to Saudi Arabia, but that's probably not going to happen. So unfortunately, wrestling fans, I think we're stuck with these Saudi shows for the next several years, and probably even beyond that, to be fair. And we've got a male/female wrestlers of the decade. So male, I'll go with Okada, because for 7, 8 years now he's been a big main event star in New Japan, got the title in 2012, and pretty much since that time he's been dominant on top, having amazing match after amazing match. I mean, let's be honest, Wrestle Kingdom main events, 5-time IWGP Heavyweight Champion. No, just 2 G1 climaxes, yeah. Yeah, he won it in 2012, didn't he? I think he won it in 2015, yeah. Alright, and then obviously Wrestle Kingdom main events, main event Wrestle Kingdom 7, Wrestle Kingdom 9, Wrestle Kingdom 10, 11 and 12. So that's 5, didn't main event, and he's going to main event at least one of these Wrestle Kingdoms this way. He's going to definitely main event January the 4th this year against Kota Ibushi, and probably going to main event, we might main event the 5th one as well. So, and obviously epic matches with Kenny Omega, Hiroshi Tanahashi, awesome match with Shinsuke Nakamura, Sanada, Morofuji, a bunch of guys really. When his ring work's pretty much second to none, so it's got to be him. I thought I had CM Punk down for a bit, but then obviously he's been gone since like 2014, so he's missed a lot of time. I think Daniel Bryan could have been the rest of the decade, but I think he missed too much ring time as well, let's be honest. So he was retired for 2 years, essentially 2 years from 2016 to 2018. But in reality, being retired for closer to 3 years, because he didn't wrestle from 2015 to 2018. And then also after that, he missed the majority of 2014 as well. So give or take, he missed nearly 4 years of action. So if he'd been active for most of the decade, he probably would be my top one. But because he wasn't, it's got to be Okada. And then for the female, got to be Charlotte Flair, guys. I mean, a lot of people might not like that opinion, but it's what it is. I mean, for the last 5 years, can you find me a more consistent female wrestler in the business than Charlotte Flair? No, you can't, can you really? for all the crap she gets. How many times has she delivered? Most of the time. I mean, how many bad matches has Charlotte Flair can you really think of? Not many, is it? And a lot of the better ones are with Charlotte Flair in there as well. So, and also she's been pushed to the top star for most of that time too. Then we've got, do you think Bray Wyatt will be the Universal Champion by WrestleMania next year? Yeah, I think so. I don't really see any reason why not. Makes sense, doesn't it, have Bray Wyatt be unstoppable on SmackDown, then lose to a babyface at WrestleMania? That just makes sense. I mean, for the record, if anyone's wondering, I don't think this question specifically being asked, but no, that's actually, but I think the WrestleMania main event's probably going to be The Fiend versus Roman Reigns for the Universal title. So that's the way I see it, really. And then, similar question, how long do you think Brock Lesnar will be the WWE Champion for? Well, you think probably going at least till WrestleMania, don't you? I mean, problem is there's not really anyone on the Raw roster right now that's really ready to be the champion at the moment. I mean, because who really wants to see Lesnar versus Seth Rollins again? I mean, you could go with Kevin Owens or Drew McIntyre or something like that, but for the rest, it's probably going to be Lesnar versus Velasquez too at WrestleMania. So you'd think, I think at least till WrestleMania, even possibly after WrestleMania as well, because God knows WWE likes Brock Lesnar taking hostage of a title for a while, doesn't he? I mean, despite the fact that no one really likes that, it's what they do. They've done it a lot in the past, and who says he won't do it again? I mean, he could even maybe go up to SummerSlam or something like that, but I definitely think he's the WWE Champion for the foreseeable future, definitely. Then we've got Devon 1097, excuse me. Who, in your opinion, was the Wrestler of the Year? Yeah, it's got to be Will Ospreay, hasn't it, really, if you're looking at it from an in-ring perspective. I mean, the guy's had an absolutely epic year this year in both the heavyweight and the junior division. I mean, he could pretty much have a 4-star match in his sleep at this point. He could probably have a 3-star match if me. But so many 4-star plus matches, a lot of them 4.5. Even longer than that. I mean, look at the run he had in the New Japan Cup this year. Amazing performances throughout the Best of the Super Juniors. Standout match of El Fantasma, Rocky Romero, Bandido. Then obviously the final, that epic match of Shingo Takagi. Then winning the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title back from Dragon Lee. Another outstanding match at Dominion. Then have one of the most least seen amazing matches of the year. The one with Robbie Eagles in New Zealand, New Japan Southern Showdown. I mean, if you haven't seen that match, which I'm guessing a lot of people haven't, you certainly should check it out. And if that's not enough, as a junior champion, entered the G1 Climax this year and killed it there as well with epic matches with Kota Ibushi. Finally had that epic match of Okada he's looking for a long time. Great matches with Sonata, great match with Evil, Zack Sabre Jr. Awesome match with Tanahashi. Then found time to have one last amazing match for the junior title of El Fantasma, King of Pro Wrestling. Had a great match with Ibushi, a power struggle, and him and Takahashi's coming up on January the... I'm not sure which one. I think it's on the January the 4th one. I think it is. Yeah, I think it is, yeah. But that match is going to be tremendous as well. And now he's moved to Japan, is full-time with New Japan. You'd think, going forward, New Japan in the next couple of years, Will Ospreay is probably going to break out and be a contender for the IWGP Heavyweight title as well. So, as much as a lot of people might not like Will Ospreay, for me, he's got to be the Wrestler of the Year. Then what company has the best women's division? Well, if you want to talk brands, it's got to be NXT. I mean, because if you say company, that's technically WWE, because NXT is a WWE company. So if you want to say WWE, you can say that. But yeah, it's got to be NXT, hasn't it? I mean, they quietly assembled an awesome women's division, really. Despite Shayna Baszler not really being the best champion, but you've got we brought Rhea Ripley up, and that's been a massive success. Io Shirai, Candice LeRae, Tegan Nox came back, Dakota Kai's come back. Who else? They had Bianca Belair out there. They've got Mia Yim there now. So some nice depth and some nice characters. I mean, I would say I think probably the worst one's actually AEW. Ironically, I think AEW don't really have a very good women's division. I think that's definitely one of the negatives about AEW. I think the NWA's got a decent division as well with Allysin Kay, Ashley Vox, Thunder Rosa, Marty Bell. Melina's just come back if anyone's interested there. So that's actually a pretty decent division. I think the main problem I see with WWE, like the main roster's women's division, is I feel like Charlotte and Becky are just so far ahead of everybody else. So if you've got Charlotte and Becky as your top tier, then everyone else is like kind of massively behind them. I guess Sasha and Bayley to an extent are up there as well, but I do think like Charlotte and Becky are on a totally different level right now. And I think we're getting into a situation, and this is especially for Becky Lynch, man. I think Becky Lynch has been against everyone and beaten everyone. They're at the point now that either Ronda Rousey has to come back or Shayna Baszler has to come up, or there's not really anyone left for Becky Lynch to face, and that's starting to become a problem now. I do think even for a little bit you should have dropped the title of Sasha Banks at Hell in a Cell and maybe won it back for the time for the Royal Rumble or something like that. And same with Charlotte. Who's left for Charlotte to face? I mean, she's pretty much feud of everybody, including Becky Lynch. So yeah, I think the WWE Women's Division someone definitely needs to break through, or they need to get Ronda Rousey back, or bring up Shayna Baszler or something like that. But to answer the question again, the best women's division in wrestling right now is NXT. How do you think Jericho's AEW runs compare to other in his career? It's definitely not the best, but it is a really good one. I mean, this run you can kind of say stems all the way back from him and leaving WWE, wrestling New Japan. So for me, this current incarnation of Jericho really started when he feuded with Kenny Omega in New Japan for Wrestle Kingdom 12. Then obviously that feud of Naito and that, and then go to AEW. So obviously I think his best run, for me anyway, was the Honest Man Jericho, the heel from 2008 when he turned heel on Shawn Michaels and then completely changed his character stuff like 08, 09, up until about WrestleMania 26. That's probably his best run. Then I would probably say after that it'd be Y2J in the WWF in 2000, 2001, back in the Attitude Era. Then I guess you could probably say, you could maybe extend that one up to about 2003. Then I'd probably say after that is probably his last run in WWE, the List of Jericho, and the awesome stuff he did with Kevin Owens. So I think this one would be on par with like when he came back in 2012 to feud with CM Punk into WrestleMania 28. I would say it's on that kind of level, but I just think it's amazing like how many years past Chris Jericho somehow changes his character, does this or does that, and stays relevant. I think it's mental. Like, really hit home when he wrestled Darby Allin for the AEW title not too long ago. The Chris Jericho's now wrestling guys that weren't even alive when Chris Jericho started in the business, or people who were like 1 or 2 or 3 years old when Chris Jericho got over in WCW. It's just mental. Like, he's 49 now and he doesn't really seem to be getting worse. I mean, obviously he's not the amazing performer he used to be, but given the fact pretty much all of his AEW title matches have been really good to great, you can't really knock him for that. And obviously promo wise, character wise, he's still absolutely on the top of his game. I do love the Le Champion title and the whole little bit of the bubbly. He's actually made some wine out of that now, which is awesome. So I think it's one of his best runs, but not his best. Worst match of the year. So yeah, it's got to be Goldberg Undertaker at Saudi Arabia, wasn't it? I'm sorry. I know I haven't reviewed that show, but I have seen that match, and my God, that was terrible. I mean, just seemed like a bad idea from the beginning. I think the problem is, if people like Goldberg, The Undertaker still have to wrestle now, you really need to put them in there with younger, more athletic guys. So, especially with The Undertaker as well, but you've got to put Undertaker in there with guys that are in the primes right now. Because these last few matches, he's probably his best match in recent years, probably the last one. Him and Roman Reigns against Drew McIntyre and Shane McMahon at Extreme Rules. But look at before that, I mean, He had a super long match with Triple H at Australia, which, Jesus Christ, did that match really need to be 27 minutes? And then after that, it was him and Kane versus DX in Saudi Arabia as well. And then obviously the Goldberg match. It's one of those matches. It just the start wasn't that bad. It was actually going all right, and then Goldberg knocks himself out, and then the match just falls off a complete cliff. Going by my reviews, I can't remember if I've given out any duds this year. So if I've given out a dud this year for one of the pay-per-view matches that I've done, I apologise, but I just can't remember it. But from what I remember, Goldberg Undertaker, just awful match. Really did hate that match. Terrible. There we go. Who should be the next AEW World Champion? Now that's a good question, because up until like last week I would have said Kenny Omega or Hangman Page, but then at the end of AEW Dynamite last week they gave us something interesting. They looked like they're going for direction of Chris Jericho versus John Moxley, and they had a big stare down at the end of the show. That makes me wonder, is Moxley going to be the next AEW champion? That would kind of make a lot of sense, because then you'd say, except for Chris Jericho, John Moxley, aka Dean Ambrose, is probably the biggest star that the company's got. I mean, especially like from a casual fan's point of view, I mean, a lot of casual fans who maybe don't know Kenny Omega that well, or a Hangman Page that well, they'll know Chris Jericho, they'll know Dean Ambrose from WWE, who's now John Moxley. And storyline wise, that makes quite a bit of sense if Moxley beats Jericho, because then you could build to Kenny Omega building himself back up to maybe face John Moxley for the AEW title and beat him for the title down the line. So I'll probably say John Moxley should be the next AEW champion. But there's other contenders as well. I think Kenny Omega's definitely a contender. Long term, I think Hangman Page is a contender. I think Pac's a contender as well. Because let's just assume that for now Cody Rhodes is not going to challenge the title, because let's be honest, at some point Cody Rhodes is going to break that rule, isn't he, and renege on that stipulation and go for the AEW title, isn't he? That's just going to happen. But hopefully they'll hold off that for at least a year, maybe more. So yeah, John Moxley for me. Then we've got Prince of Strongstyle 9v2. Who've been the best champions of the year? And then you stop the question. So I think you had a follow-up question, but you just didn't type it. So who's been the best champions of the year? Probably say the best champion of the year, I'll probably say Adam Cole as NXT champion. He's done an outstanding job. Wrestling a variety of opponents, and really, I think he's really helped carry the NXT brand of the last year. I mean, he's really been the guy. I mean, popular as Johnny Gargano is, as awesome as Johnny Gargano's matches are, I feel like it's a total package. Adam Cole's a bit better than Johnny Gargano. Gargano's a better wrestler, no doubt about that. I mean, that's just, he is, but overall, I just think of his mic work and all that and his character work, Adam Cole's really done the business this year. And as a matter of fact, I'll probably say he's got to be one of the top 5 NXT champions of all time. I could say Okada, but in the ring, yeah, he has actually been outstanding in the ring, but this is more of a been there, done that of him. I mean, there's not really anything fresh for Okada to do as IWGP Heavyweight Champion anymore. And as awesome as the matches are, it just kind of feels stale. So I'll say another great champion. I think Walter is a United Kingdom champion. He's done an outstanding job. I mean, really good stuff from him. And then I think Velveteen Dream did a great job as North American champion for a while. In the short history of the belt, he's probably been the best. Because I mean, Adam Cole, Ricochet, Gargano, and then Velveteen Dream. I'll probably say Velveteen Dream's been the best North American champion to date so far. Main roster, there's not really been any standout title reigns for me. I tell a lie. I'll say Daniel Bryan is WWE champion, but that's kind of that's partly in 2018 as well. But for his running early this year as a WWE champion, he's probably been the standout champion in WWE. Because let's be honest, Kofi had an run, to be honest, and I think I might actually get into this later on here, to be honest. But I think Becky Lynch has been good. She hasn't really set the world on fire though. I mean, she had a good feud with Sasha Banks, but Lacey Evans feud, good God, that just dragged on. And I think the Natalia stuff in the SummerSlam was alright, not fantastic, but just alright. I think Seth Rollins was okay as Universal Champion, not bad but not great. And let's be honest, who the hell wants to see Brock Lesnar as champion again? Then I think in AEW it's too early to tell. I think it's too early to really judge the AEW champions because they've only had the titles for a couple of months and that's still ongoing. So for me, I'll probably say the standouts: Adam Cole, NXT, Walter, United Kingdom, Velveteen Dream, North American, and Daniel Bryan as WWE champion. So, hang on. Right, so let me get this right. Do you think the fans are jumping to the gun / jumping to conclusion when it comes to AEW? Seems like more fans are willing to turn AEW into Dynamite versus NXT a war, just for drama's sake, as well as missing the point when there's alternative outside the WWE umbrella, not in brackets, not named in New Japan Pro Wrestling or NXT. The hardcore and casual fans can just enjoy. And do you think CM Punk's comments on the whole war narrative from his StarCast 3 interview speaks volumes to this? So, what CM Punk basically said is just, don't let the other companies fool you into thinking this is war. Just enjoy all the wrestling. And yes, it's like, Jesus Christ. But the way people go on Twitter about this is like, just watch both shows and enjoy them. It doesn't need to be AEW versus Dynamite War. This is not Raw versus Nitro. It's not a big personal battle between these two top companies trying to destroy each other. But that ship, that's gone. That's never coming back again. We're never going to get that Raw versus Nitro thing. I mean, especially now when everything's on demand, so accessible. You can watch these both shows. You don't really have to pick one over the other anymore. You can watch one live and then watch one later on, or watch neither live and then watch two whenever you want. So what I tend to do, because obviously neither of these shows run live in the UK, so I usually watch Dynamite on Thursday morning, and if I'm off work, I'll then watch NXT after that. But if I am at work later on that day, I'll watch Dynamite and then just wait till NXT goes on WWE Network and watch that on Friday morning, or maybe even Saturday or something like that. But yeah, I'm enjoying both shows. I think they're good shows. I mean, and fans just get annoyed. And to be honest, I'm going to be honest, guys. I think it's the AEW fans that are more annoying than the NXT fans. I mean, AEW stands. Yes, I'm hip. I know all the cool phrases. AEW stands are just so irritating. It's like, just get over yourselves and enjoy your product. And if you don't like NXT, don't watch it. If you don't like WWE, don't watch it. Support AEW. Big up AEW. Don't sit there and knock the other people down. It's just embarrassing, really. It's like, especially when it's supposedly grown adults doing it as well. It's like, just get a life. Just enjoy the fact that we have two really good wrestling shows. And obviously New Japan Pro Wrestling's out there as well, doing quite well. Even the NWA Power, I mean, that's a really show worth watching. And hell, if you like Raw and SmackDown, if you happen to like Raw and SmackDown, just watch Raw and SmackDown. That's a great thing now with the accessibility of the internet and streaming services and all that stuff. If you really want to, you really can watch everything. It's not like back in the day where if something was on TV, you missed it. You can watch it all now. It's great. Right. I know many will start a bitch fest in the comments, but some should listen first. Do you think WWE ending the special DVDs will continue, and the pay-per-view DVDs is a disappointment? And I know that sorry. I know the network has a shit ton of rare stuff from there, but for those who collect physical media, myself included, there was something special about owning a wrestling DVD. Yeah, I just think it's the way things have gone now. That's the problem. So yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, from now on, the old classic special WWE DVDs, like a retrospective on a wrestler, those 3 discs DVDs if you might have a documentary and a match compilation with extra promos and all that shit. Those are no longer happening anymore, and from now on, WWE is just going to release the pay-per-views on DVD. But yeah, I think it's just the way things are going. I mean, obviously, people people watch stuff online now with all kinds of stuff like Netflix, Amazon Prime, all that kind of stuff. And then obviously now WWE for the last several years had the WWE Network, so it'll be a business decision at the end of the day. I mean, if the sales of WWE DVDs are down, which I'm sure they are, because I'm sure DVD sales all across any market's probably down now because people are watching stuff online now. I mean, if you have like a PS4 and Xbox, if a movie comes out, you can just download that on your device and don't have the DVD anymore. I mean, I'm not really bothered because I stopped buying DVDs a while ago, and obviously I'm not. So that's for me. Obviously, not everyone has a network, but I think it just makes sense for WWE now to just rely on the network subscriptions. Get $9.99 of people every month, and it just makes sense. It's just the way it is. There's been DVDs, CDs, all that sort of stuff in the past. It's going to be a thing in the past, and I think in a few years DVDs is going to be obsolete anyway. I think they'll eventually just stop producing DVDs full stop. I think everything will be online in a few years and streaming and all that stuff. Yeah, maybe some people don't like it, but it's just the way it is. Especially now, I think it's easy for the WWE just to do stuff like WWE 24 and WWE 365 and all that stuff, and do these little documentaries from time to time on the network and WWE Chronicles and stuff like that. And even if you look at the special DVDs, they've pretty much done everyone anyway, because I think because they did it from about 2004 onwards. So Ric Flair, Bret Hart, Austin, Michaels, all these legends from the past, most of the top stars in wrestling have pretty much had the big DVD treatment anyway. So, and if they do little documentaries now, they might as well just put them on the network and stuff like that. I see what you mean. I suppose it's a shame for people who don't have the network and rely on DVDs, but unfortunately you're not the majority. It's the majority of people are watching online now, and that's just the way the world's gone, you know. I mean, I imagine it's the same for other entertainment companies that produce content. They'd rather put stuff on. People watch stuff on Netflix now instead of buying DVD box sets, you know. That's just the way things are. And then what have you got next? Who are some wrestlers that you've seen for the first time that have impressed you, as well as most improved, and you want to see more of 2020, aka best first impressions, most improved, and the best to keep an eye on 2019. So, 5 guys I've seen for the first time. I think I did obviously see him before this year, but Jordan Devlin stood out for me. There's another question about this, which I'll get into. Ilya Dragunov on the NXT UK brand's done a really good job. Obviously with AEW, I've been exposed to people like MJF, and obviously I did see his match at All In with Mark Cross, but I didn't really think it was all that. But now he's like gone to AEW, he's really doing good. I had no idea who Darby Allin was until AEW, so there's him as well. He's definitely Private Party. I think they've definitely stood out as they'll be a big tag team for a lot of years in AEW. If them AEW keeps them together, I think MGF's going to be one of the main guys. Darby Allin will probably be a strong upper mid carder, maybe semi-main eventer for a lot of years, you know. Hadn't really seen LAX or Santana and Ortiz. I think I did watch them face the original NXT LAX in TNA Impact. So yeah, all these years later, I'm still calling Impact TNA because I'm weird. But I think they obviously now I watch them every week on AEW. That's going to be good for them. So really just guys like that, really, to be honest, because I don't watch a lot of indie wrestling stuff outside. So my main wrestling that I watch now is really AEW, Dynamite, NXT, sometimes NXT UK, but not as often because I just don't have time. Mostly the big shows in New Japan and NWA Power. So then obviously New Japan, I don't think anyone new has really come to the scene that I thought was great. I guess El Phantasmo, because I've never really seen him wrestle before. And obviously he's coming into the company now and doing a pretty good job. Then most improved, I think Evil's got to be up there. I think he's had a really breakthrough year in my opinion. I think some of these awesome G1 Climax matches. He had an excellent match with Ibushi, King of Pro Wrestling. Probably had his best match versus Tomohiro Ishii at Wrestling Don Taku earlier this year. I think obviously Shota Umino's definitely one to watch for the future. He's now on excursion in Rev Pro, if anyone didn't know. So I imagine this time next year he'll probably be back with a new gimmick, maybe get picked up by one of the factions or something. And then not really improved, but obviously I hadn't really seen him for about 10 years with Shingo, because I do remember seeing Shingo a little bit in the mid to late 2000s when Dragon Gate guys would come into Ring of Honor and stuff. That was it. He's been in New Japan for a little over a year now, and I think he just took the promotion by storm, really. I mean, he's working with Bushi in the junior division. He's performing in the Best of Super Juniors. He's done well in the G1 Climax as well. So yeah, those guys are the really ones. And then we've got Hidden Gems of Classic of 2019. These could be matches people haven't rated high as others, and significant matches you've seen they haven't recommended on the channel. So I guess there was a lot of G1 Climax here. Matches went under the radar because there was so many tremendous ones. So I guess stuff like Will Ospreay vs Evil stands out as a really forgotten match to me. I think people did rate these matches high. I think it's just the fact that these few months later, there's mostly just been forgotten about. I think Ospreay vs Tanahashi was outstanding, but there was other better, more significant matches in the G1 that year. This one gets forgotten about, but that match was amazing. I think Okada and Kenta had a fantastic match as well. It probably goes a little bit under the radar. Then I'll probably say most forgotten classics, probably, because I just don't think everyone's seen it, because it was on a relatively small show, which there wasn't really much hype about. But Ospreay versus Robbie Eagles from Southern Showdown in New Zealand, that match was amazing. If you haven't seen that match, you should definitely check it out. It was an absolutely brilliant match. It really was. Then I guess a lot of stuff on the UK indie scene, which I've seen. I mean, a couple of really standout ones. I think obviously Walter versus Jordan Devlin in OOT St. Paddy's weekend in March. That was a classic. That was absolutely amazing match. I think the one that I bet most people haven't even seen this match, but you definitely need to check it out. And that's quite recently on OTT. That's Irish promotion, by the way. On the 5th anniversary, Jordan Devlin versus David Starr. That's as good as any match you can see this year. I actually give that match 5 stars. So if you haven't seen that match, I think that's an amazing match. Great storytelling as well. And then going back to Progress, some of the Super Strong Style 16 matches. Jordan Devlin versus David Starr had a classic match there as well. Now, I still haven't seen what was the big show they put on? The big show in Camden in September where Eddie Dennis won the title. So I've not actually seen any of that show yet. I probably will watch it eventually. I just haven't got round to it. And then as far as recommended matches that I haven't reviewed on the channel, so basically, so I'll pick out some NXT matches in the NXT TV show. Although quite a few of these matches will appear on the NXT list at the end of the year. I think standout ones were that 5-way going into WrestleMania weekend of Adam Cole, Matt Riddle, Velveteen Dream, Aleister Black and Ricochet. That was just like ridiculous pace in that match. Velveteen Dream versus Johnny Gargano, where Dream won the North American title. That was a great match. Velveteen Dream versus Buddy Murphy, and I want to say that was about April time, maybe something like that. Really going to the live, I mean, there's been some really outstanding matches to go. I say the best matches on NXT TV since he went live were probably Mia Yim versus Io Shirai ladder match from a couple of weeks ago. Keith Lee versus Dominic Dijakovic versus Roderick Strong for the North American title. Then I think the best one's probably Undisputed Era versus Revival from a couple of weeks ago. That was a great match. So NXT UK. There's been a handful of gems. I mean, Dunn versus Walter 2 about a month after WrestleMania weekend was a great match. I think apparently Ilya Dragunov and Alexander Wolf had an excellent match last week, but I still haven't seen that. I think if I could recommend one, I could Tyler Bate versus Cassius Ohno from a couple of weeks ago. That was actually tremendous. Probably one of Cassius Ohno's best matches since coming back to WWE, and a really outstanding performance from Tyler Bate as well. Then what standout massive happened at AEW Dynamite? I think for me the best, probably my favourite one is probably Young Bucks versus Private Party. From see dates, I'm not sure about the dates and all that, but that one, both Hangman Page versus Pac matches, Kenny Omega versus Pac recently. I think Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela from AEW Dark a couple of months ago. That was an amazing match, actually, to be fair. Moxley versus Pac had a great one. We had Rio versus Nyla Rose was a surprisingly very good match on the debut episode. There's usually a lot of good matches on AEW Dynamite. Chris Jericho versus Darby Allin for the AEW title. Chris Jericho versus Scorpio Sky for the AEW title last week. So there's plenty of good stuff out there to watch. Then I think that's probably about it, to be fair. I think there's a lot. I'm just going to move on to the video now, because I think I've recommended enough there. There we got. How many sets of questions have we got? We have 3 more, but so we've got 3 more. We're getting there, guys. Jerichoholic 8704. Do you think Kenny Omega's departure hurt or halted New Japan's expansion in the US? And could we say the same if AEW's emerging in? I'll say yes to both. I mean, Kenny Omega was the guy to the North American audience, wasn't he, really? Let's be honest. I mean, as far as North American English-speaking guys, Kenny Omega was probably the guy that New Japan were banking on. And obviously when he left, obviously the Young Bucks left as well. Cody Rhodes left as well, so that's 4 big stars that he had. Yeah, and that's definitely hurt their expansion. I mean, did you see this G1 show in Dallas? So many unsold tickets on that one, it just didn't really look good at all. And yeah, and I think obviously Kenny Omega's hurt New Japan as a whole, never mind the expansion in the United States. I mean, he was one of their guys, wasn't he? He was one of the big 4, I think. For 17, 18, I think there was a big 4 of Okada, Omega, Naito and Tanahashi. Then you lose one of them, Omega, and now Tanahashi's slowing down as well, so it's really hard to replace those guys. I think New Japan tried to replace Kenny Omega with Jay White, but for me that just didn't work. I mean, I just don't think Jay White's on the level of a Kenny Omega. I think there's still a lot of work to be done with Jay White. I think long term, Will Ospreay could maybe be that guy for the English speaking crowd to get over with. And I think AEW as well, their emergence definitely hurt New Japan, because kind of feel like AEW has become the shiny new toy now amongst wrestling fans. Fans may be sick of WWE, wanting something different. I think that led to a couple of years ago, a lot of people turning to New Japan Pro Wrestling. That was a case of me, but then with a company like AEW opens up in America, I think a lot of people would rather watch that now, and I think a lot of fans have jumped on the AEW bandwagon and watching that instead. So yes, I would say yes to both. Kenny Omega leaving and then forming AEW in general definitely hurt New Japan's bottom line in the United States. So I think the expansions, I think they're going to have a harder time expanding in the US now. I mean, obviously for the core Japanese audience, they're fine. They're always going to have that. They're always going to be top dogs in Japan. That's just the way it is. But yeah, as far as America, especially now NXT's going live as well, it's going to be hard. But you see other companies struggling as well. I think like Ring of Honor, Impact are definitely going to struggle because of AEW now as well. It's just the way it is. There we go. If you could provide one reason to why Dynamite, NXT and SmackDown's ratings are on the decline, what reason would you give? Obviously there's more than this answer, but major reasons. So SmackDown, I think SmackDown's ratings, that was inevitable. I mean, they had that massive bump when they did the debut, but they were never going to get 3 million. Because if you think about it, prior to going on Fox, they were getting around 2 million every episode, so they're doing better than that. But I think it was a big ask for them to immediately jump from 2 to 3 million. They weren't going to gain 1 million viewers on Fox. That just wasn't going to happen. Now they've pretty much settled into about 2.5, 2.4 million, which isn't bad by current standards, but it's not great. But I would say I've got to go on. I think for NXT and Dynamite, and you've alluded to this as well, because yes, I do listen to Pro Wrestling Pavos. I do that. I just think the lack of characters more than anything. I mean, for what I see, I think on AEW more so than NXT, but I think both shows are culpable of this. They have a lot of good wrestling matches on the show, which is fine. I mean, nothing wrong with having good wrestling matches, but problem is we see good wrestling matches all the time now. How would you stand out? So they have a lot of people that are good wrestlers, but either don't get the opportunity or just aren't really interested on the microphone. Especially with AEW, I think they rely too much on the in-ring action, which is fine if you're just doing one-off pay-per-views and stuff like that, but if you're doing wrestling on television every single week, you've got to have non-wrestling segments. So a big example right here. So if you remember when Darby Allin got that AEW title shot against Chris Jericho a few weeks ago, great, right? The only problem was AEW did not give Darby Allin any mic time whatsoever. I mean, would it really hurt them that much to have Darby Allin maybe cut a promo on how important this match was to them, what a big opportunity this was? What do we know about Darby Allin really? He's a good wrestler. He likes to go on skateboards, but he hasn't really had a chance to cut promos yet. And that's a perception of people like MGF. A lot of these young guys in AEW aren't really getting the chance to show the microphone skills off. Because the problem is, I think they think a lot of the casual audience will already know these guys, but to a lot of fans watching, like a lot of these young guys in the roster are unknowns, so they really need to get some character development there. And I'll probably say some of my favourite stuff on Dynamite has been the promo. So like, remember the Cody Rhodes promo prior to Full Gear, the promo where Chris Jericho formed the Inner Circle, the whole attack where the Inner Circle were in that executive box, and then Cody, Dustin, MGF, all those guys came and beat them up. That great segment with Jericho and Scorpio Sky the other week, I think that's been some of my favourite stuff. So I say, if AEW does more stuff like that, because I think they need people to care about the characters and all that. And I think NXT the same thing. Although I do think you see a bit more of this in NXT than AEW. So I think if they focus, because obviously great wrestling, yeah, but I think you need some top characters to really put the product over. I will say it's a shame though that these both shows have been really good and it's not really reflected in strong ratings. That's just a shame. That's just disappointing. Then what have we got? With the business fully exposed, how does one become a good heel in 2019? Who are some wrestlers in 2019 that define these traits? So I think Daniel Bryan, really. I think it's hard, isn't it? Because obviously, exactly like there's another question about this as well. So I'll elaborate more on this in a little bit, but it's hard, isn't it? Because what do you do? Everyone knows wrestling's not real. I mean, obviously they did a long time ago, but I think especially with social media and all that, and people like wrestling doing stuff out with characters really hard. But I think to do it, you've got to be really talented. You've got to have good material, and you've got to be believable. I mean, Daniel Bryan had all these traits. I know this isn't really 2019, but I think the best heel of the last 2 or 3 years, whatever's probably been Tommaso Ciampa, is because his character was a complete piece of shit. There was nothing likeable about him at all, and obviously he had an absolutely perfect babyface in Johnny Gargano. It's funny because Adam Cole, he's a heel, but how much of a heel is Adam Cole really? I mean, there's a lot of likability fact about Adam Cole, so how can fans really hate someone like Adam Cole? But I think what Daniel Bryan did was brilliant, because prior to that he was a massive babyface and all that, and then he completely changed his character up. And I don't know if this is because Daniel Bryan's the bigger star than most, so he gets a little bit more leeway. But I do get the impression, obviously I don't know if this is a fact, but I get the impression WWE was letting Bryan cut a lot of his own promos, so he touched on the veganism thing and all wanting to save the planet and all that shit. So he had some great material, and he really used it well. I think he lived the character as well, because obviously I don't know if you saw a couple of outside interviews of him on stuff where he's pretty much talking character. He didn't post stuff about charity on social media and all that shit. So I think probably the best heel that's managed to get over has been actually hated was Daniel Bryan. But that's just me. But prior to that, Tommaso Ciampa, same question above with baby faces. I do think it's a bit easier for baby faces to get over. I think you've got to be likable. You've got to seem real and genuine. I think you've got to be seen as a genuinely good person. So Johnny Gargano for me definitely defines these traits. I mean, he's the closest thing to a classic babyface you've had over the last few years. I think you do got to be a bit of an underdog now to get over as a babyface as well, because they've tried to push guys like Roman Reigns to the top and try to sell him as a babyface. But obviously, I think you even allude to this as well on your shows. But half the problem is we all know that Roman Reigns is not an underdog. He's being the guy that Dude Reed wanted to push. I feel like babyface has to get over organically now. I think the old manufactured push of we'll do this, put him in this feud, have him win this match, and he'll be really over for the crowd, does not work anymore, because I think in general, people don't like to be told what to do. They like to... I think a lot of people like to root for the underdog now, because obviously I think this goes back really to the whole Reigns and Bryan situation to begin with. I think the problem was all the fans loved Daniel Bryan because he was really good and really talented and all that, and they wanted him to succeed, but WWE didn't really see it and didn't really want him to be a top guy. And then because of WWE's reluctance to push him, he got over as a top guy and they pushed him to the top. And then Roman Reigns comes along. It was kind of like, you guys, you will like Roman Reigns. We'll do what you want, damn it, and it'll work. But obviously it never did. So I think, be heel, you be a babyface, you've got to be believable, you've got to be real. And I do think you've got to be a bit of an underdog nowadays. I think it's hard to really, and you've got to let the crowd pick who they like and cheer for them instead of trying to force feed stuff down them anymore. But I'll say that obviously the best thing is probably Johnny Gargano, and I suppose Becky Lynch as well, because she seems to be one the fans haven't really turned him. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you see some people on YouTube and social media saying she sucks and all that, but for the most part, the crowd is still cheering her. I mean, sometimes she might get a smattering of boos, but for the most part, she's still over. Then we've got Waluigi deserves his own game. What's your opinion about the Undertaker last week, WrestleMania 35, about the Undertaker? Yeah, that was weird, wasn't it? But I didn't mind it at all. I don't think the Undertaker needed to be on WrestleMania, because you look at that WrestleMania 35 card, it was a big card. Overall, I think there was including pre-show, I think it was 14 or 15 matches, something insane like that. So, where do you really fit in an Undertaker match? Wasn't really anyone obvious for the Undertaker to wrestle at WrestleMania this year, so people like AJ Styles and Drew McIntyre are all in matches. I was fine with it. I didn't really have a problem with it at all. I was quite surprised he wasn't on the show full stop, because I thought, I predicted the other thing they did with Cena and Elias. I predicted that would be the Undertaker, and they saved that for the Raw the night after WrestleMania 35. So, I guess now the Undertaker's probably, if he doesn't wrestle at WrestleMania, I think he will have one match at WrestleMania 36 this year, and I'm hoping it's his last, because I think Undertaker should never have came back after WrestleMania 33. Let's be honest, I'm sorry, that's just the way I feel. Obviously since then he's really done the international shows, and I guess because to help draw the crowd and get a nice payday out of it or whatever. But I had no problem with it at all. I didn't really think the Undertaker needed to be at WrestleMania 35, but that's just me. Then, did you think Becky Lynch's momentum was killed in the feud with Lacey Evans after Mania? Yeah, I would say it was for a while anyway. I definitely think so. I think Lacey Evans, she just wasn't on the level needed to be a feud with Becky Lynch. And you've got to think Becky Lynch is coming out of WrestleMania. She's got the ultimate victory. She's beaten both Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. First person in WWE to pin Ronda Rousey. Wins both titles, so... Then how would you follow up on that? Feuding with Lacey Evans? I was just like, what? Because up to that point, Lacey Evans hadn't really been built up at all. she was in the Royal Rumble, then she did she was pretty much for like about 2 months doing a little walk along gimmick and not really doing anything. And now all of a sudden we're supposed to buy her as a viable contender to Becky Lynch. And this is not to Lacey Evans. I think she definitely does have some potential, and I think maybe in a year's time she might be ready for a big feud, but she just wasn't ready for it. She tried her best, but it's obvious to me she just wasn't on Becky Lynch's level, and the feud was so. However, I will state I think Becky Lynch has got that momentum back now. So obviously that feud lasted, and I think the Talia feud is alright, but then I think the Sasha Banks feud is what really got her momentum back. And then some of the stuff in the build-up to Survivor Series with Shayna Baszler has been really good as well. So I think Becky Lynch is fine now, but yeah, this feud definitely halted the momentum, didn't it? I think Seth Rollins needs a heel turn after the Hell in a Cell debacle. And I think obviously you sent this question a few weeks ago, but now if you watch Raw, that seems like the direction they're going in. So I gotta say fair play to WWE in this one. They know they've messed up quite a bit on Seth Rollins, and I think Seth, because obviously there's another question about this which we'll get into, but I think Seth Rollins has not helped himself by coming across as an arsehole on social media and in interviews and every 5 minutes. There's just something about it, just seems like not a very likeable person. Like every time he seems to open his mouth on Twitter or interviews or whatever, he just comes across as a dick. And obviously the whole thing of the Fiend, that just fucked him over like big time. So I think but obviously now it looks like that's the direction they're going, and they turn Seth Rollins heel, and I think that's for the best. I think that's going to help him in the long term. Just get him back to, you can argue he was probably better off he was better as a heel anyway, because obviously his heel stuff at 2014, 2015 when he was a WWE champion. You could probably say that was probably the best stuff he did in WWE. And it's not like with John Cena, where John Cena was booed by the fans, but he was a massive merchandise seller. For what I gather, Seth Rollins isn't really that big of a merchandise guy. I mean, don't get me wrong, he probably does well, but it's not like where John Cena's clearly the top merchandise seller by a mile. So it's not like WWE's risking losing a lot of money by turning Seth Rollins heel. I think he'll do well. Even if he does well as a heel for about a year, maybe they can turn him back in 2020, 2021 maybe, and maybe he'll do better down the line as a face. Then what's next for Kofi Kingston after his WWE title reign ending in a few seconds in October? Well, it looks like back to where he was, back to the mid card, because obviously now him and Big E's the SmackDown Tag Team Champions again. So looks like his main event run's over, and probably over for good this time. I mean, I just don't see him getting back at the top. I mean, his reign was alright. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. Definitely didn't set the world on fire though. I do agree that was kind of weird. So he loses the title of Brock Lesnar, which fine, I get that. Brock's a big star. SmackDown's going and Fox. He needed a big main event for that first show. Obviously they were planning to do Lesnar versus Velasquez as well. So alright, Lesnar wins the title. But did it really have to do it in 8 seconds or whatever the hell it was? That just made Kofi look such like a chump. And I think the complete lack of follow-up has just been disgraceful. I mean, he hasn't cut one promo wanting the title back. Nothing's been really mentioned of the fact he was WWE champion for 6 months. Like, would it have been so hard for the following SmackDown to come and either cut a humble babyface promo apologising to the fans for letting them down, or even a fiery babyface promo declaring his intentions to get back to the top, to get back at the WWE title, or I guess the Universal title now since that's on SmackDown. No, none of that. He's just kind of gone back to what he was doing before. So if you just recently watched, if you only started watching WWE in the last month, you probably don't even realise Kofi was just a WWE champion for 6 months, because WWE's done really bugger all the pushing back. So yeah, I think he's basically going to be back in the new day, doing what he was doing before he was a champion. I mean, for me, I think even now I would love to see Big E turn on Kofi Kingston and do a heel Big E versus Kofi Kingston feud. I think that'd be great, but I don't think they'll do it, but I think that'd be great. There we go. You think Eric Rowan being revealed as Roman Reigns' mysterious attacker was bad? No, not really. I thought at the time, I thought it was a bit stupid, but I'll give WWE credit on this one. They give Eric Rowan an opportunity to develop his character a little bit, talk on the microphone, and I think he actually got really up for a while. I think he did really well in the role wrestling Daniel Bryan. He had a couple of really good matches with Roman Reigns, actually. I mean, one thing I'll say though is I still really do wish it was all a ruse and then Daniel Bryan was behind it all along. But that just would have made so much sense to have Daniel Bryan attack Roman Reigns. It was kind of like when it was the old Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Brian Pillman, Sting situation in 1995, where Sting had all the ruse. Flair turned on Sting and went back to Arn and Pillman. But obviously that never happened, and now Daniel Bryan's a fully fledged babyface again. But no, I think the problem is now though, what's Eric Rowan doing now? I think it was pretty senseless to move him on Raw and not really have him do anything. But I think he had some decent momentum going for a little while. I think like it's kind of a shame that seems to be pushed to the wayside now. But I don't think it was bad at all. I actually think WWE actually had a little decent storyline going out of it for a little while. Then we've got the last set of questions from Shamir. Some of these are long, so just bear with me. So do you think social media in the current days of wrestling have ruined heels? What I mean is, in 2019 we live in a time where it's really hard to truly hate heels because social media humanise them. I just can't hate Sami Zayn when I've seen all the charity work he's done on the internet. This process also works vice versa. I mean, have you seen Seth Rollins on Twitter? Yes, I have. We'll get into that in a second. He comes across as unlikable as possible, and they want me to treat this guy like a hero, and that's what I think is being damaged. I mean, why would I want to boo a genuinely nice person like Sammy or cheer a corporate toolbag like Seth? Toolbag, is that really alright? Because the narrative wants me to. Piss off. Anyway, whether you agree or disagree, please elaborate on this topic. So, yes, I think social media does make it harder for heels, but has it ruined heels? Is it ruined heels more than the fact that wrestling's been exposed for like 25 plus years now? I mean, it's just social media is a problem, yes, but I think if you're good at your job, you can definitely get around it. I mean, I do agree that in general, social media makes it hard because at the click of a button, someone famous could really make an arse out of themselves and ruin their reputations. Like, maybe they're drunk or something and have something on their mind and they write some stupid shit on Twitter. So I'll go to Seth Rollins' point first. And God, yes, I've seen Seth Rollins on Twitter, and yes, I think this is a great example of what you say. I think you're right in this sense. The Seth Rollins has hurt himself. I even give WWE some slack on this one. I don't even really WWE's hurt Seth Rollins more than Seth Rollins has hurt himself. So it really goes back to when he just started talking shit about all the other wrestling for no particular reason. Like, just went on this big Twitter rant how WWE's the best wrestler on the planet, and if you don't think so, you're a loser and all this shit. It's like, where'd that come from? What was the point in that? And then trashing people like Will Ospreay, and then, oh my god, he called Will Ospreay a little man. But I'm thinking, hold on a second, you're the same size. Will Ospreay is over 6 foot tall, you know. So him and Seth Rollins are pretty much the same size. And I thought that was kind of shitty because even in Seth Rollins' career, I think he had to fight the size thing as well. So now he's going after Peel. And then some of the stuff you're saying about Jon Moxley, it's like, he just sounds like a dick. Saying that John, he took his ball and went home. He took his ball and he went home. Vince McMahon might as well have written that for him because that's pretty much what WWE says all the time. I mean, I remember going back to 2002, and that's what they used to say about Steve Austin. And then he was talking about, he's trying to take food off my table. No, he's not. If Moxley wasn't happy in WWE, then he should have moved on. I mean, to be fair, I think creative's always been alright with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins has never had that problem. But when he's saying shit like that, it's just shut up. And to be fair, at least now WWE seems to have recognised this and they turn Seth Rollins heel. But yes, I think Seth Rollins really hurt his reputation there. And the thing with Sami Zayn, I get what you're saying, but it's kind of like it's not real though. So yeah, I get it. Obviously, him and I can't even remember his real name is, but it's not Sami Zayn. Obviously, what is, I can't remember what his real name is now, but it's a weird sounding name. But obviously him and Sami Zayn are two different people. So he does that stuff on Twitter. I guess what I see what you're saying, but what about Daniel Bryan? I mean, Daniel Bryan was a super likable person in real life, and he managed to get over as a real heel. I just think it's hard for people. It is hard, yes, but I think it can be done. But I think the social media, I think it's too easy to say social media is the primary reason. I think it's been this way since the 90s, really. I think, because after a certain point, the wrestling business has been exposed so much. Hell, Vince McMahon even admitted wrestling was entertainment in a media release. I think this is like 1989. So, yeah, it's one of those things, like, it is hard, yes, but I think it can be done. I mean, look at Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa was really hated as a heel for a while. I think various times the Miz has been really good as a heel because of his good character work. And like I said, I think Daniel Bryan is a great example. So you say you don't want to boo Sami Zayn, that's fine. I get that's up to you. You boo or cheer whoever the hell you want, but I feel like if Daniel Bryan's in a similar situation to Sami Zayn, but Daniel Bryan was able to make it work, and maybe that's because WWE creative was better for Daniel Bryan than it was for Sami Zayn. I don't know, or maybe Daniel Bryan's just better at his job than Sami Zayn. I don't know, but yes, I do see your point. We got who's more annoying, Ziggler in 2019 or Big Show in 2015? Dolph Ziggler in 2019, I don't even want to get into that. I'd kind of be asked to complain about that one. This is a good one. Name a wrestler from any promotion this year you're really impressed by, but doesn't get enough attention from the IWC. So the guy I've picked out, it is probably just because most people in the IWC haven't really seen him, and that's Jordan Devlin. For me, he is the most underrated wrestler in the entire world right now, and I guess the reason for that, because if you've only ever seen him from NXT UK, you probably think, this guy's good, not fantastic or anything like that, not brilliant, but if you're seeing any of his stuff on the UK indie scene, you realise just how good a wrestler this guy is. I mean, some of his stuff in Progress, OTT, brilliant. So some of his stuff to pick out, obviously some of his Super Strong Style 16 match, I think he had an excellent match with Kyle O'Reilly. Yes, Kyle O'Reilly wrestled on those Progress shows, and I think the big final he had with Dave Starr was outstanding. Go back to OTT, the Island promotion, and when he beat Walter for the OTT title at St. Paddy's weekend, that's one of the best matches in Europe of the entire year. A match I went to see live, actually, Progress on the Tyne in Newcastle in July, Jordan Devlin versus Ilya Dragunov. That match was awesome. That was an absolutely fantastic match. Great match, that one. I was there for that one, by the way. And if you haven't seen this match, I think every wrestling fan should watch this match at least once just to see what they think. But OTT, the 5th anniversary show, or maybe it was a 4th, it happened recently for the OTT title, David Starr versus Jordan Devlin. That's one of the best matches of the entire year anywhere. That was just an amazing match. Absolute tremendous stuff. 5-star match in my opinion. Storytelling was absolutely top notch, to be honest. So, and yeah, I do honestly think because I think he's just great. I think he's got a little Bryan Danielson in him. I think he's a shorter guy, but he looks good. He's a good athlete, but I think he's also believable. His strikes are good. His work's good. I mean, hopefully, I'm hoping he gets like a big takeover match. The only takeover, he had a takeover match at Blackpool with Finn Balor, but that was like 12 minutes. But I think he should definitely be pushing the United Kingdom Championship scene in the future. I mean, I'd love to see that. I just don't know if WWE really know what they got their hands on Jordan Devlin right now. He's a tremendous talent, really good talent. I mean, yeah, like I say, for me, the most underrated wrestler in the world right now. Then we got your ideal world title matches during WrestleMania weekend for all 3 WWE brands. Right, so the Raw one I was struggling with a bit, because ultimately I think it's going to be Lesnar versus Velasquez 2, which I guess will be alright, but it's not really something I really want to see. I think if it were up to me and me only, which obviously it's not, but if I had the choice to make the Raw World the WWE title match at WrestleMania, I think I would go with Brock Lesnar versus Kevin Owens. think that match makes the most sense. I mean, God knows who the hell wants to see Lesnar versus Seth Rollins again? Not me. I think Drew McIntyre is a maybe option, but you could maybe do Lesnar versus Styles, but I think Lesnar versus Owens for me makes the most sense. I mean, especially with Seth Rollins turning heel, Raw really does need a top babyface to step up to the plate, and I feel like Kevin Owens is probably in the best position right now to do that. I mean, he's popular with the fans, and still relatively new to being a babyface in WWE. Looks like Rollins and Owens are going to feud for the rest of 2019, probably maybe even through the Royal Rumble and stuff like that. So, and this is a match that's never happened in WWE before. It might have happened in a house show. I think it did happen in a house show once. But as far as televised matches, Lesnar and Owens have been on the same roster for 4 years now. This never happened, and I think it's a match that will be interesting. I mean, you've got the unstoppable monster champion in Brock Lesnar. In many ways, you could maybe say a people's champion in Kevin Owens. So it'd be a good story. And if it was up to me, I'd prefer Kevin Owens to go over, but that's just me. So let's go to the Universal titles pitch on SmackDown. And I think it's got to be Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. I mean, that match makes the most sense right now, because it looks like they're running through the Bryan versus Wyatt. That's probably going to happen at TLC. And possibly, although what I would do personally is add the Miz in, because they've got the Miz in the story. I think they could do Bryan versus Miz versus Fiend at TLC. Maybe have Bryan and Wyatt blow off the rider at the Royal Rumble, and then Wyatt can move on to Reigns. Because let's be fair, I think, can anyone really begrudge Roman Reigns getting a big push now? So he comes back from cancer. He's really had a reduced role in WWE this year, hasn't he? He's not really being one of the pardon the pun, big dogs, has he? I mean, came back, had that feud with McIntyre, which was fine. Didn't set the world on fire. Didn't even wrestle on SummerSlam, which is quite amazing. Had that feud with Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. Having that feud with Baron Corbin, but that's just a complete filler feud. So for me, I think Roman Reigns wins the 2020 Royal Rumble, challenges the Fiend for WrestleMania. That just makes sense. Unstoppable Wyatt versus the big dog Roman Reigns, and I'm fine with it. I think that'll be a good feud, because I think if Lesnar hadn't gone to Raw, it was probably going to be Lesnar versus Reigns again. And who the hell wants to see? I could probably live the rest of my life happy if I never saw Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns wrestle ever again. I don't really want to say that again. At least if Bray Wyatt, if Reigns is getting another WrestleMania main event, he's taking another full-time guy with him. That'd be interesting, 2 full-time males in the early 30s main event in the WrestleMania. What a concept, eh? And I think the match would be pretty good. So, last one, NXT. This one I'm not sure about. Again, I think on paper you could say Adam Cole versus Tommaso Ciampa, but it's just gone in December now. Can you really hold up that feud all the way to WrestleMania weekend? I think this is most likely going to main event TakeOver Portland in February. What's it? It's in Tampa this year, isn't it? So, and I think in Tampa, WrestleMania weekend will be something else. I personally wouldn't mind seeing the Velveteen Dream challenge Adam Cole at that show. I think that'd be great. I think they've sat on Velveteen Dream for a while. I think Dream's ready to have an NXT title run. You could have him come back, go for the Undisputed Era to face Adam Cole. Because I think ultimately it is going to be Adam Cole defending the NXT title on that show. It has to be, surely. Another option, maybe Keith Lee. Looks like they may be pushing towards Keith Lee going after Adam Cole. But I would like to see Adam Cole versus Velveteen Dream personally. But I think you've got 3 good options there. Ciampa could work. Dream could work. Maybe Keith Lee works. We'll see. Then we got right. This is a long one, so let's just go right. And I've decided we're going to have a compromise here. So, right, okay. So you basically wanted unpopular opinions in this decade of 2010s. But then you've got some that you want me to comment on, and you want me to give you some of mine. So what I'll do for this one, I'll give you 5, but they'll all be related to 2019. So I'll give you 5, and because they're related to 2019, that's relevant. But I will read yours and then comment on them. So how many have you got? You've got a few. So right, your first one, Turning Zayn heel at Hell in a Cell 27 was dumb and totally killed the identity developed throughout his whole career, not to mention when he was booked badly as a face. He was sympathetic and now everyone just thinks him as a pathetic coward. Disagree with that one, because I think the way they had him turn heel was pretty good, with helping Kevin Owens against Shane McMahon. But I will say that's probably the only way he could have worked as a heel, is being aligned with Kevin Owens. And it did make sense because Sami Zayn wasn't really doing anything on SmackDown at the time. So if you think it was dumb, fair enough, but just consider this. When he was aligned with Kevin Owens, he got a big feud with Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. Was in the WWE title scene for a while. Had WWE title matches at Royal Rumble and at Fastlane. And then had a big WrestleMania match with Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. Would any of these things happen if Sami Zayn had stayed face? Not a chance. To be honest, at the time, Sami Zayn was going nowhere as a babyface. He was floundered on Raw for most of the early brand stuff. The only thing he really did notable on Raw was feuding with Braun Strowman for a little while. What did he do at WrestleMania 34 or 33? I think it was in the Andre and Battle Royal, wasn't he? Came to SmackDown and things didn't really improve there either. He was just kind of on the roster, not really doing anything. So, giving this thing with Kevin Owens really helped him out a lot, in my opinion. So, I definitely disagree with that one. Turning him heel was probably, in the line of Kevin Owens, was probably the best thing he could have done at the time for his own career. Now, granted, I think he's kind of lost his way as a heel now, and that's mainly because WWE's booked him like an idiot. To be fair, I think after he came back with a shoulder injury, he could have came back as a babyface there. Instead of came back as a heel, it could have worked. But if you're talking just for the 2017 one, I would probably disagree. Then what we got? Alright, Asuka losing to Charlotte was not a bad decision to me. It didn't kill Asuka, honestly. Her streak was getting annoying and the things that killed Asuka doesn't include this. I would agree with that completely. I think it was probably the right call. You got to think about this. For a streak like Asuka's, it's got to end at the biggest stage possible. And there was no bigger stage at WrestleMania in this. It was probably the perfect time to do it. And it was against Charlotte Flair as well. Probably the most pushed woman wrestler on the roster. So I think that had to happen at WrestleMania, really. I mean, if they did it as something like Carmella at Backlash or something, I think a lot of people would just complain. So I agree with you on that one, I think. But then there's some things that you thought killed her. Let's have a look what you wrote. Having a tap out despite Charlotte having impact finisher, natural selection. To me, I thought, nah, not really. I thought that kind of doesn't really bother me that much. I think tapping her out was fine. I don't really think I have a problem with that. Having her congratulate a loss, in my opinion, no, I don't really think that. I think that was just showing respect, showing sportsmanship with the person that beat her. I don't think that was really a problem. Then lastly, Charlotte losing clean to Carmella Backlash 2008 just kind of made Asuka look pathetic. Yeah, I read that one. And did she really? I honestly have no recollection of Charlotte beating Carmella clean. Did that really happen? That was only for a year. I just don't remember that happening. But if that happened, then yeah, that does definitely hurt Asuka. Then we got it didn't actually bother me one bit that Becky tap cleaned Asuka as well, because it did 0 damage to Becky. I will agree with that one. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that one. I mean, that's one. No, I had no problem at all with that, to be honest with you. I mean, as a matter of fact, I think most people probably forgot that it even happened. But you're right, it did not do any damage to Becky at all. I think Becky Lynch was totally fine after that. And hell, now you could even use that to have Becky and Asuka feud for a little bit. Who knows? Then we got actually started getting sick of Shane in 2017, not 2019 like most people. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I personally didn't really start getting sick of Shane until this year. The 2017, I wasn't a big Shane fan, but I didn't hate him or anything. I did think that Kevin Owens feud was good. Going to Hell in a Cell, I thought that was perfectly fine. The AJ thing for WrestleMania 33 was alright. I wouldn't say it was great, but I wouldn't say it was terrible. But me personally, I didn't really jump on the Shane McMahon sucks bandwagon until this year. And then we got don't think the Miz has done a bad of a job as a babyface as most people say. I would say yeah, because to be fair, honestly, Miz's feelings as a babyface is absolutely nothing on him. This is all WWE's fault. The booking was horrible, but I think Miz's personal performance has been perfectly fine. And I do actually think he's kind of getting there as a face now. Getting involved in the Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan feud. I think he's doing Miz TV. For me, wait, what happened, right? So they turned him face against Shane McMahon, which was good. I think fans were actually kind of ready for a Miz babyface run. And then, this bothered me anyway, I don't know if it bothered anyone else, right before WrestleMania, all of a sudden the Miz is now this badass who can beat up entire factions by himself, insanity, which to me that didn't make sense really, because for all these years, like 10 years or whatever it's been, Miz has been pushed as cowardly and all that, and not really a tough guy at all. Then all of a sudden he's a badass, so okay, that's whatever. Then we get to WrestleMania, he has a match with Shane. Shane McMahon goes over, which, alright, I guess. The feeling is if Miz gets his revenge later on, but the revenge never comes. They have a cage match at Money in the Bank, which Shane McMahon wins again. Then the feud's pretty much dropped. Then the Miz is back at really doing nothing. So that was terrible. So you have the Miz turning him in. I believe he turned him in his hometown, didn't he? Humiliated his dad, his old dad. And it beats him twice. So then Miz kind of looks like an idiot because of that. So but I think the Miz's personal performance has been fine, but when you make a babyface look like a loser, you're fucked. And I think they sacrificed Miz as a babyface to get that thoroughly obnoxious Shane McMahon heel turn over. Ugh. But we'll not get into that. Right. Then NXT has gone downhill in my opinion. It's good. It's just been that real life has hurt us. See, I don't get that one, your last point. Can you explain that one? Because I honestly just don't see it that way. I mean, if anything, going live's made it better. Because I think one of my things of NXT was, okay, I'll say it has, downhill's probably a harsh word, but not quite as good as it used to be. Because if you think about, I think 2018 was a special year for NXT. I mean, that 2018 was an absolutely insane year for NXT. I mean, we were getting all-time classic takeovers, all-time classic feuds with Gargano versus Ciampa, Undisputed Era, Ricochet coming in, Matt Riddle, Pete Dunne, just epic stuff. Aleister Black, Almes, people like that. Obviously, it's gone slightly not as good as it used to be, but for me, it's probably still the best show out there. But the only one I don't really get is saying how going live hurt. Because I think one of the big things I had, the NXT takeovers were always amazing, but the NXT TV show was usually alright, sometimes not very good. But I think, if anything, going 2 hours on the USA Network, the shows, now the NXT TV shows are consistently awesome. We're getting more big matches on the shows. Guys are getting more opportunities now because of it being 2 hours. So, people like Keith Lee and all that, when it was just 1 hour on the network, getting taped every 4 or 5 weeks, with him not being on TV that much, he wasn't really getting over. But now he's like him and Dijakovic, they're on TV every single week now, so they're getting more time to get over and be popular. And then it's given other talent as well a chance to shine. So people like Leo Rush and all that are on TV most weeks now and stuff like that. So if anything, I think I must admit I do kind of miss the charm of the 1 hour NXT shows, but objectively I think the NXT TV shows now are better than they've ever been, in my opinion. I really do. So I think like 2 hours has made it a better show overall. So there is that. So yeah, I don't really see how being live's hurt at all. If anything, I think it's gotten even better, in my opinion. That's just me, but we'll see. So that's yours. So I'll give you 5 of mine, and they're all related to 2019. So number 1, in a lot of ways, Charlotte Flair is better than Becky Lynch. Now hear me out before keyboard crazy people start bashing me. Hear me out. I think in a lot of ways, Charlotte Flair is a better wrestler than Becky Lynch. Number 1, I think she's better in the ring. She's clearly a better athlete than Becky Lynch. She's got more star qualities than Becky Lynch as well. You look at the match record, I think Charlotte's had a lot better matches than Becky Lynch over the last few years. I think the only two things, what sets Becky apart, I think she's a lot more likeable and relatable than Charlotte Flair. And I think Becky's got way more charisma than Charlotte Flair, and I think that's why she's probably surpassed her as a star, because of those qualities, because of her promo and character work more than anything. But I think in a lot of ways Charlotte Flair's even better. Now, number 2, and this one might sound unbelievable to some people who've known me for a long time. WWE desperately... can I even say this? I'm going to say it. WWE desperately misses John Cena. There, I said it. You hear that? WWE desperately misses John Cena. Now, coming from me, who said a lot of bad things about Cena over the years, and I stand by the things I've said, but it's obvious WWE's missed having a star like John Cena on television. Obviously, because John Cena had a lot of charisma, great promos, and through all his faults, John Cena was a genuine star. He really was a genuine star. Really was. And maybe it's slight reasons because WWE pushed John Cena for so many years. Now John Cena's gone. Nobody's really stepped up. No one's really replaced him. They miss a guy like John Cena on television. I mean, even if John Cena comes back for a 3 or 4 month run, I think it would go down really well. And yeah, I just think WWE don't really have any stars on the level of a John Cena, to be honest with you. And maybe that's on WWE, but yeah, it is funny. Like, I think a lot of people maybe appreciate Cena a lot more now that he's gone, and remember, that's Cena. Well, maybe, but yeah, I honestly do. I honestly feel like WWE's gotten worse since John Cena's left. Not saying John Cena coming back would save the promotion or anything, but say he comes back like soon and then goes all the way. This is regular on TV until WrestleMania, has a big WrestleMania match. I think it would definitely help WrestleMania and help the build up of WrestleMania a lot. I mean, I really, really do. Opinion number 3. If CM Punk comes back to the WWE, I have one question. Will he be able to live up the hype? I mean, you've got to think of it like this. CM Punk's 41 years old now. One of the main reasons he left wrestling because he was so hurt. So would CM Punk be able to live up to expectations now? I think that half the problem is a lot of people would expect CM Punk of 2011, whereas in reality he's Phil Brooks in his 2019 going into 2020. So is it worth CM Punk actually coming back? Because in reasons, can CM Punk be the performer he once was? I have serious doubts about that. I honestly feel like if CM Punk came back, had a big match, say he had a big match with Seth Rollins or something or whatever, I think there's actually a really good chance it would be a disappointing. I really do. Because let's face it, Punk hasn't wrestled in 5-6 years. So would he be able to come back and be the performer that he once was? That had a legitimate claim to being the best in the world. You know, that's just a big question I've got out there. And I feel like it might be a disappointment. Number 4. The fact that the in-ring work in New Japan is masked the fact that the company's really stale now. I mean, I've just not liked a lot of the booking in New Japan this year, despite most of the matches being excellent. I mean, I'm sorry, I just really disagreed with Okada getting the title back, because now it's like, we've kind of been there, done that. What more can we do if Okada's IWGP Heavyweight Champion? I mean, if he leaves Wrestle Kingdom as champion, I'll not be happy. I really won't be happy. But then there's stuff like the constant title change this year has been ridiculous. So obviously the IWGP title situation kind of had to be how it was with Kenny Omega leaving. So Tanahashi had to win the belt with Wrestle Kingdom. And I guess putting the belt on Jay White makes sense, but for me, I feel like Jay White should have had a fair shake as IWGP champion. I mean, he didn't even have a single successful title defense, losing the belt to Okada. So in 4 months, you've had 4 different IWGP champions. Then you look at the Intercontinental title situation. So Naito wins the belt back at Wrestle Kingdom, okay. Lose at the Kota Ibushi in Madison Square Garden, okay. And then second title defense, loses the belt back to Naito at Dominion. Now that did kind of make sense a little bit, because then he went on to win the G1 Climax. and then another title change, Jay White. Then some of the never openweight title changes with I think it was like 4 or 5 different never openweight champions this year. Ridiculous. So yeah, honestly, I've disagreed with a lot of New Japan's booking this year, and I do think in general the company's quite stale because we've had the same guys on top for a while, and I feel like there's a lack of fresh matches. I feel like the shining light's probably Kota Ibushi. I mean, him and Okada's pretty much the freshest feud they've got, and that's it. But then what does Kota Ibushi do? I mean, who wants to see Kota Ibushi versus Naito again, you know? Okada versus Naito, who really wants to see that again? So yeah, that's a conundrum they've got now. What do they do for Okada? Because Okada's been through everyone. And I think when he won the title back, they kind of just recycle through the same challenges. I mean, I don't really want to see him face Sanada ever again. Who else did he defend? I suppose Chris Jericho made a decent stopgap. What was his other title defense? No, he's only had 3 as no. Suzuki and Royal Quest. That was another one which is fine, but we've seen that match as well. So, and I feel like New Japan, they desperately need to make some new stars. I mean, they've tried with Jay White, but I think it's only being so-so. Obviously, Tanahashi's slowing down as well. Naito's getting to the point now where he either has to win the IWGP title and have a proper run with it, or I don't really know where else is him to go. So have they got Kota Ibushi pretty much ready? Now here Tanahashi's slowing down. Okada's still. So who's left? I think Tomohiro Ishii's typecasted into his mid-card spot for life now. I think that's just going to be his role going forward. So I think New Japan creatively really need to get off the arses and do something different in 2020, because I feel like there's not really much interesting going on right now storyline wise for them. And that's just me anyway, and I'm a New Japan fan as well. I mean, I love the in-ring product, but booking wise I just don't really feel it at all. Then last one for me is character work and mic work, way more important now than ever. I mean, the problem I see now is a lot of guys out there are good wrestlers, great wrestlers in a lot of cases, but I think the whole, especially the IWC, the whole emphasis on in-ring action, which is fine. I mean, I like in-ring action as well, but it's hard to stand out now, isn't it? Like, there's too many people that are good wrestlers, good in the ring, have good wrestler matches, but don't really do much else. I mean, you can see good wrestler matches all the time. I mean, the majority of wrestlers are now good in the ring, but it's hard to really stand out now, because and I think a lot of people there's a lot of generic looking guys now, but I think the key to being a success now, I think we need to get back to more character building, more promos. I think this is especially true for like NXT and AEW and all that. Even WWE, to be fairness, let's be honest. I think a lot of guys, and even a lot of guys in WWE are generic now. And not to say the indie generation is bad, but how many guys really stand out now? I mean, I think big personalities is a key. I think that is really the key to getting over, having a big personality and being likable and getting fans to get into your character and stuff. So here's a perfect example, right? The guy everyone's been talking about the last few months is The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Why? Is Bray Wyatt the best wrestler in the WWE roster? No, nowhere near. I would probably say there's probably at least 20 guys, maybe even more guys that are better in the ring than Bray Wyatt, but Bray Wyatt has the coolest look, the best character, and that's what's doing the best mic work, and that's what's getting him over. The reason Bray Wyatt is a star right now has very, very little to do with his actual in-ring performances. When you look at AEW, who's the hottest prospect on that roster? MJF. Is MJF a fantastic in-ring performer? No. There's plenty of guys better than MJF, but for the most part, he's one of the best promo men in the business, and that's why he's getting over, because he has a good character, because he has great promos. Another example, last year, when did Becky Lynch finally break through? When she got the man character, and when she started cutting great promos. For years, Becky Lynch was an excellent wrestler, really good in the ring. brilliant in the ring actually, but she wasn't getting over because the character was just so. And then when she got the confidence, got the man character, that's when she really broke through and became a star. So that's what it's all about now, guys. I think we need more characters in the wrestling business. We need, but all the companies to give the guys more mic time to get the promos over, and that's how they become stars. So, whoa, that video went a lot longer than I expected actually when I looked at the questions, but to be fair, guys, I actually got a decent amount out of this, 1 hour 44 minutes. Did not expect to go that long. So thanks for watching, guys, and just what's coming up the next few weeks. I have a review coming up later today, which I should have done yesterday, but I drunk too much on Saturday night and I was too hungover to make videos yesterday. But that'll be over the limit 2010. I probably won't complete the WWE series until early next year, but I want to get through a few over the next couple of weeks, and as usual, the matches of the year coming. I've got 3 lists in mind. Sometime this week I'll be posting New Japan matches, and I've got WWE NXT, then WWE main roster, then I plan at least one more Fair 5. One I've got in mind is Fair 5 wrestling shows of 2019, and when I do that, that'll probably be the last Fair 5 for the year. And then in January, I have 3 massive lists planned in January, and those are top matches of the decade. So I've got top WWE main roster matches of the decade, I've got top NXT matches of the decade, and I have top New Japan Pro Wrestling matches of the decade, all planned out. So look out for those, guys, and thanks for watching, and until next time, peace.